Greetings gamers, and welcome to part number 7 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 10 Radiant Dawn. Let us begin and leave the base. Desert of Death. We've already been north, where we met Prince Raphael and his party. That leads east or south. Which way? What is it, Volug? Is something wrong? Volug says he senses Bjork to the south. A lot of Bjork. That settles it then. We'll head south. Impressive as ever, General Tauroneo. However, we can't hold out forever. We are seriously outnumbered. It's time we put these vermin in their place. Are you ready, Jill? Just give the word. Alright then, let's go get them. Who could the Bagneon soldiers be attacking out here in the middle of nowhere? Whoever it is, we have to help them. Okay, so I can choose units. In this chapter, Volug is required. I am going to bring everybody just because it is nice to have everybody for chip damage purposes. But I do have a new unit. Volug, he's a wolf, which is a new type of Legoose to the Tellius games. There were no wolves in Path of Radiance. They are highly skillful, a little bit weaker, but also a little bit faster tigers. So that's basically their MO. Their fangs are also, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit weaker. I'm pretty sure Tiger Fangs at the lowest rank, which he is at, are 10 might. He has pretty fantastic bases, though. Considering he is a level 15 wolf, Legoose in this game only level to level 40. They do not have a promotion. That means that they actually have 20 less levels than Bjork, but by and large, Legoose have far and away better maximum stats than the Bjork, but the reason why that is because just about no Legoose in this game have 1-2 range. As you can see, it's a 1-range weapon he has got here, which is good for what it's worth, especially in the early game, but it's not all that fantastic. Now, Volug has some pretty interesting growth rates, having a 95% HP, 25% strength, 15% magic, 35% skill, 40% speed, 90% luck, 15% defense, and 10% resistance. Now, the interesting thing about this, I don't know if you noticed, but those growth rates are horrendously low compared to every other unit we have seen in this game. The reason why that is because in this game, Legoose have been utterly changed. In Path of Radiance, Legoose just got static buffs depending on their class when they transformed. However, Legoose in this game don't have that. What they do is they just double their stats. Now, the wise-minded, or the wise-sighted, will see that Volug's stats are not doubled. 11 times 2 is not 16. 12 times 2 is not 18. He is only getting a 50% buff to all of his stats, and the reason why that is actually has to do with a skill you cannot take off of him during all of Part 1. This cuts experience points gained in half, but allows the unit to transform at any time and stay transformed. So he has another skill too. It's Howl, can immobilize an enemy unit for 1 turn after that enemy uses an indirect attack. This is situationally useful, but it's not something you can bet or bank on. The capacity of Legoose is also much higher than Bjork, so there were things that intelligent systems tried to do to balance the Legoose in this game to make them better. For instance, one thing that they can do now is you can actually choose to transform and untransform them. Why that's pertinent is because if they're not anywhere near battle, you can untransform them and save gauge, because they increase in gauge every single turn. Now in Volug's case, he cannot be untransformed in Part 1. There is no possible way to do that. He is just locked in his transformation state, which means that he is less than the the most capable of he can possibly be, especially because his experience points rate is cut in half. Now, he has a fantastic HP base and pretty good stats, but something that's interesting is that Radiant Dawn brought back triple effectiveness. So why that matters is because of fire magic. Fire magic in this game has been buffed to be the strongest of the anima magics, and this is just regular old fire here. So this has actually got 15 might against Volug. So 15 plus 9 is 24. Minus his 7 resistance, even the weakest of mages are doing a boatload of damage to him. You've got somebody here like Wystan, who has Elfire. This has 21 might against him, plus the 14 magic. This guy is not somebody you want to throw Volug at, and I'm almost 100% positive the reason why the boss and two fire mages are near him is simply due to the fact that they don't want you to just trivialize this chapter with Volug, which makes sense, but it's also kind of unfortunate because it means that you have to hold him back a bit, which is okay. That's actually good design. It's just unfortunate for him, or for the use of him. Now, what's interesting is one thing I did want to talk about. It's not pertinent on Volug now, but strike rank takes the longest to rank up in this entire game, because there's only 3 ranks. There's A, S, and double S. Basically, the whole of those 3 ranks is like going from, I believe, D rank to S rank, or C rank to double S rank. So it's actually quite a bit more involved. But there's a trick. If you untransform a Leguse and have him fight in his untransformed state, then he will get double strike rank. It's either double or quadruple. It's something insane. So they do have a hidden kind of discipline that they can use that is specific to these classes. It's just like how staves get an extreme amount of staff experience when you attack with them. The problem with that is that when you do this, the Leguse unit in question, like Volug here, gets his stats cut in half. This would be highly abusable in this part of the game because his half stats are more than capable of dealing with these enemies. Some of them would double him, but, well, actually, I don't think anybody would double him in this chapter, no. But for the most part, he would be totally fine. He would take a lot of damage. You would just have to make sure he didn't take too many confrontations, and you would just heal him up. And I think the reason why they made it so Volug cannot untransform is specifically for this quote-unquote exploit. I don't really think it's an exploit. I just think it's being smart with your units and knowing what the game offers you. So, that being said, I'm going to reposition, if my characters would let me. One thing I am going to do that is also kind of interesting is I'm actually going to be shoving Soth quite a lot in the beginning of this chapter so that he can come over here and steal this Master Seal. There is, I believe, only one stealable. Well, there's the Shine Barrier. Do we want that? I do have 2 spaces open. So we could steal the Shine Barrier. Who's dropping that Vulnerary? Okay, up here. Don't really need to steal any more. We have plenty of healing items for the time being. Yeah, so I'm going to definitely be stealing that as soon as I possibly can, which means I'm going to be shoving him with a lot of units. What this unfortunately means is that I'm going to be taking a backseat for the first, like, turn or 2. And the problem with that is you have to defend these units. And there are times where Zihark and Jill just flat out die because this chapter is kind of exceptionally difficult on them. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and save and begin this chapter. First and foremost, you get a shove. Don't think anybody like you can shove. No, I didn't think so. Leonardo, yes. Volug. Still cannot reach. I don't know if he actually will be able to. No, that's kind of unfortunate. So... yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I was hoping not to have to shove that many times, but what can you do? Let's equip the Iron Knife and steal the Master Seal. Alright, so the only thing I can do here is, again, I have to take a bit of a backseat. I have to be careful with where my units are placed. Alright, cool. So what this means is that only 2 of my units can be attacked, and that's Meg and Aaron. Granted, Meg is being doubled, so let's see. 18, that's 8 times 2. I don't think she is going to die to any of these guys. One can hope. This will be, unfortunately, the very last chapter that I have animations on, so, well, for the time. For the time, don't worry, animations will come back on in an appropriate time. So if you like them, you might want to soak them in, enjoy them. Yeah, Soth taking this much damage is unfortunate to say the least, but there is one factor that is awesome about this game's healing items, and that is that they're actually good. He has a vulnerary on him, which we stole in, I believe, Chapter 2. Which means he's actually perfectly fine. Yeah, if either of Jill, Tauroneo, or Zehark die in the first, or in this chapter, you just straight up lose. And there's times where you can't do anything about it. I actually do like the way Meg looks. Her armor and whatnot. Alright, yep, go ahead and attack at range. Doesn't even matter if you hit. I am going to be staying out of the boss's range because might as well steal the Shine Barrier. There is actually a very cheeky use with that. Alright, so Soth is 2-hitting this guy, which is nice. Yeah, there's a chapter later on in this game, not too far from now, but where you only can use 2 units. And because of that, the 2 units that you can specifically use are not all that great. So you kind of don't want to... You don't want to be without the ability to use defensive mechanisms like the Shine Barrier. I think it's a very good addition. Now, of course, Jill is going to heal herself, but the reason why they didn't just gang up on her is because I believe the AI in this specific map is designed not to gang up on one single unit. Because there's no way Jill would survive. And she can't be any stronger than she is now, because there's reasons why that is, and we'll see what those reasons are soon. That white armor. Only certain generals were allowed to wear it. I may very well know that soldier. Really? Well then, all the more reason to help them. Let's hurry. I skipped a little bit of that dialogue. That's unfortunate. Okay, so the boss is actually just outside of reach. There's no way for me to reach him either. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to bait him in with Soth when he's not using a ranged attack. But for the time being, it is healing time. Alright, so this looks dangerous and not so great, but it's actually not that big of a deal because we have Volug. Volug is super strong for this portion of the game. I am really not a fan of Legues. There is unfortunately going to be very few Legus used throughout this game. They're going to be used for their qualities when I have the time and the need, but I am never going to specifically go out of my way to use Legus. So like right now, it makes a lot of sense for me to use Volug because I have a very weak party. I'm even using characters like Aaron, which, by all means, he is not that great to start with, or Meg. They're not bad units, and they do turn out to be good at some point, but they're just not good now. That's kind of the problem with the Dawn Brigade, is that many of them are just not all that good to start, but they can be raised into good units. Absolutely can. Pretty much any character in this game can. Perfect. Might be able to KO him. Definitely not with Meg. Well, actually, I can. That's nice. So what's kind of hilarious is I actually think that sword armors are the best in this game, and you only get one. You get 2 lance armors and you get 1 axe armor. I actually think that sword armors are the best, and there will come a time, can't say exactly when, but there will come a time where I do happen to, okay, Nolan can reach, where I do happen to go through this game with some interesting characters. I do want to eventually play this game with nothing but like the armored units, just because I think they're interesting. And at that point, you're going to see the full glory of Meg and the other 3 armors. But yeah, as you can see, with proper strategy and some good play, you can pretty much clear out all of those forces in the starting area, which is great because it's... You don't... I think she would have died there, actually. You don't want to get surrounded by those units. You want to make sure that you use everybody you have. That's why I deploy everyone, so that everybody can be useful. A lot of folks undeploy and will only use the units he wants to use, but being honest with you, in the early game of Radiant Dawn, you don't really have that option. And in fact, throughout the middle game too. And the reason, especially on harder difficulties, so if I was playing on the hardest difficulty right now, this would be kind of a struggle. And that specifically has to do with the fact that, again, your units aren't really geared towards dealing with the scaling of the enemies in this game, in the early game, that is. Yeah, Jill is not having a good time. Tauroneo never leaves that space, so he will only attack and KO units that are near him, or within his range. Luckily, he does have 1-2 range. Yeah, the axe guys definitely need to go, because they are doing the most damage to Jill. Luckily for us, the position that they are currently taking is actually a super good one. With that being said, I'm going to move up with Volug. One cool thing about Legus is they are not hindered by desert sand or really any movement terrain penalty at all. Forest, thicket, doesn't matter. Now, you do have to be very careful of these enemies here. I guess I could just move him around. Gonna have to do that with Leonardo as well. You don't get any reinforcements from your starting location of enemies, which is really good. It would not be a fun thing having to deal with said reinforcements. All right, nice. So the boss is here. Okay, the only thing I can do, if I want to steal from the boss, I think I'm actually going to have to wait just a moment, because I'm going to bait these guys over here with 1-2 range. The ledge advantage is extreme. It's the weapon triangle on absolute steroids. It's 50 hit minus, 50 hit plus. So if you're on top of the ledge, you get 50 hit plus, and the enemy on the bottom of the ledge gets 50 hit minus. So I'm just going to leave Soth here for the time. Seems kind of silly, but I'm doing that specifically because I don't necessarily want the boss to come over here right yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of those guys were doing exactly enough damage. This is funny. This is why I baited that guy over here. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Nice, nice. So, that means pretty much Tauroneo's crew is totally safe. I believe Jill is probably going to heal up again. And if she does, that's going to be nice for us. For our team, for my team particularly. And Tauroneo will attack the one guy, and Zehark will attack the other. That should be pretty well. Awesome, I pretty well called it. Ooh. Okay, so there is reinforcements from that particular way. Alright. Taking out you, of course. Next turn is when I'm going to be putting Soth within the range of the boss. Probably towards the southernmost part of the map so that he's without of the range of anybody else. Okay. Nice hit. Very nice hit. Micaiah has 18 health and 3 defense. She's likely, yes, she is very much so one-shot by, well, the steel bow guy she's definitely one-shot by, but she's not one-shot by the other. Cannot reach. That's nice. All the experience Micaiah can get is good for me. And that's a whole nother level up. Level 9. Pretty good level. Granted, I would prefer speed. In fact, if she only got speed in that level, I'd prefer it over what she just got. But, still a pretty good level up. Can't totally complain. It might have been better to have Leonardo and Edward near the ledge to go up the ledge, but what can you do? It's already done. Nice. I love the addition of ledges, specifically because it allows for some pretty interesting and unique gameplay in certain points of this game. and I appreciate that. I think that that's something that's very well warranted. Unfortunately, Soth is wasting a lot of these Iron Knife usage, but that's what I made him for. Okay, good. She did not stay there. That would have been kind of horrendous. Sometimes these guys will do stuff like that, though. Let's move over here. That's not something I really want to bet on. Ileana, however, will not die to that steel bow user, even if she does get hit. So that is good. And we can go right here. Bronze Dagger is already equipped. That's nice. Use a Vulnerary. And that's pretty much it. Okay, nice. They are actually attacking. That means there is no healing left for them. Hopefully not all of them hit, because I think if all of them do hit and the boss hits, Soth might perish here, and I would not be too happy about that one. You're a tenacious bunch, I'll grant you. Dane isn't known for winning its wars, so why do you keep trying? Dane isn't known for winning its wars. Nice. Might actually have to heal up, considering. Nice dodge. Micaiah will be taking that KO. Volug clearing out the rabble over here, which is nice. Leonardo and Edward can go support Tauroneo's crew, which is pretty much the plan. Alright, so he has no chance of dying here, which is good. Even if he had been hit by both. They don't do enough damage to KO him. Yeah, they're all doing 7. So a bit close for comfort, but Soth gets a level up, which is always awesome. And a fantastic one, too. Nice. I really appreciate that. Especially because Soth also does not have that great of a speed growth. Yeah, I'm glad she cantoed back. Well, I do have one thing I could do. Nice. It's actually two-shotting. Micaiah doing a great job. Oh, a little bit far there. Yeah, that guy was doing exactly 20 damage to Ileana, which is a lot. HP? Are you serious? Steel bow. He's not attacking Meg twice, but it was not exactly a brilliant idea putting Meg in the range there. And a good dodge. Nice. He's now only doing 9 damage, so Soth is no longer 3-hit KO in this situation. 4-hit KO'd. Oh, are you kidding me? I wanted to have a wonderful wedding. Father, I wanted you to be proud of me. What a waste. Unfortunate, to say the least. Unfortunate. General Tauroneo, Zehark, and Jill 2. We're going to talk about you in next episode, because I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to leave off this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.